Welcome to Footnotes. Here we desire to address your questions by allowing the speaker of the hour to give us further insight on the messages and sermons at the point. We pray this will help you in your spiritual growth as well as keep you encouraged.
Thank you for joining us. I'm Evangelist Ryan. I'm sitting here today with Pastor Baker. Welcome back, Pastor.
Hey, Sam.
It's always good to sit at the table with you. Well, let's go ahead and just discuss it. So we had a few questions received from the sanctuary from my message today, but from a few key points taken from the message, we learned about what's the talk. So you care to elaborate on what's the talk?
What's the talk?
Mm-hmm.
What's the talk is about a conversation that's being had in the community, church community, our community of our world, society. So what's the talk? What's the latest feed, if you will?
Okay.
What's on the timeline of our society? So that's what the talk is.
Okay. Well, let me read one of the questions for you. It says, what's the appropriate response for a Christian when approached with some talk?
Well, it just depends on what's being said. You always have to, some things you don't want to validate, but you can't necessarily deny that the church has problems. But you further also you can say that not only does the church have problems, one of the things that people always say, and most of us have heard this, that the church is filled with hypocrites.
Yes.
How many times have you heard that the church is filled with hypocrites?
Okay.
And so you say, well, yeah, the church have hypocrites, but so does the hair salons.
Mm-hmm.
So does our grocery stores, the service station we patronize. The hypocrites are everywhere. In fact, they're hypocrites at the house where you live, and you still go home.
Yeah.
So that's one of the topics. So what do you do about that? You agree with them. Yeah, you're right. There are hypocrites in the church.
Mm-hmm.
Don't try to defend it because it's a problem.
Right.
But don't say that's the only place that hypocrites exist. So we can counteract what's being said to us by really just shedding light on it.
Mm-hmm.
The church is a hospital. The church is a place where people come and get healed, come and get their deliverance. And I always say, even in the message we said, if a hypocrite comes to church, he won't be a hypocrite long. He'll change because the Word of God has a way of cleaning us up.
Amen.
I hope that answered your question.
It did. It did. I hope it answered your question.
Yeah.
Now we have time for one more. What is the world saying about the church? Now, what's the talk on this? And again, being a Christian in today's society, how do we respond to that? Do we respond more so in maybe actions? And what type of actions are we supposed to respond
Well, I think
with?
to answer that correctly, I think that we have to remember, let me say this, we have to remember that we are, Christ called us the light of the world.
Mm-hmm.
He called us the light of the world for a reason. Lights are used to illuminate certain areas. And so the church should be illuminating, if you will, factor. It should always bring light to the situation. We're the salt of the earth. It should bring season and bring some input and whatever else. So when you say that, how do you respond to the world? We have to be what we're supposed to be. First of all, be an example. The church should not say the same thing the world is saying when they say we all have problems, we all jacked up, nobody's right, nobody's perfect. Well, we say, well, Christ is perfect, and the God that's in me is a perfect God.
Amen.
And so the areas of my life that I have those imperfections, I can trust that God will deliver me of them. So we should be the light of the world, we should be the salt of the earth. And so when the world is talking about us, we can change the conversation by changing our lifestyle.
That's good. That's
Yeah.
good. That definitely pulls on the spirit, man. Now that's definitely good for growth. Would you agree?
I will.
Well, it was always a pleasure talking with you, Pastor.
Thank you for joining us for Footnotes. We will see you back next week. Feel free to visit our website and submit your questions. Go to www.thepointcom.net. Then click on the Sermon Library. Have a blessed week.